One of my favorite memories from being a child is playing Uno with my parents. I remember the first time I played it, and I remember the second and the fourth time and the 4 billionth time. We played it so many times as a family. Draw 4, draw 2, skip, reverse. Having one card, Uno, then going up to 20 cards. The agony of defeat, the thrill of victory. But as the years have gone by, I don't really like Uno anymore. It's too simplistic for me, but I did like just sitting around and playing a card game with my family. It's a simple, fun time. I like the idea of Uno. Are there games better than it? Why, yes there are. So if you're looking for games that are more fun than Uno, I have 10 recommendations for you. These are in no particular order, but let's say you like the idea of Uno and having a card full of hands and getting rid of cards. There's a fun little game with wonderful art called Tempura. This is about cats, and they're making sushi, I think. And in what you're doing in this game, you can draw a huge handful of cards. You can go down to no cards. It's like Uno, but it's faster and has a bit more sillier rules. So it's a very similar idea. And for some reason, I like it better. And the artwork is phenomenal. Maybe you like me, just want to sit down and play a simple card game with other people. Well, if you like that, I can recommend one of the best card games I've ever played, No Thanks. In No Thanks, you are trying not to get any cards. You start with some bidding chips in your hand, and each round there's a card out there, and you put a chip on that card saying, I don't want it. It goes around the table. But eventually, someone's going to run out of chips, or they're just going to say, I'll take the card. The card is worth minus points at the end of the game, but they get more chips, so they can avoid other cards in the future. Very fun. Some cards, when you get them, they don't count as many points, and so you're trying to figure out and bluff other people, but it's very fast, very easy. Love this game. No thanks. Another simple game is called Six Nimmt. Now, Six Nimmt has many different names. There's Slide 5. If you look online, there's lots of different versions of this game. And in this game, you have a handful of cards, and each turn, everyone's playing one. You play one, you reveal them. These cards are then put into rows, and you don't want to put the sixth card into a row, because if you do, you win all the cards in that row, and cards are points, and you don't want points. It's easy. It can go up to 10 players. A great little game, Six Nimmt. Maybe you'd like to take that parts of Uno. Draw 4, draw 2. It's about to be your turn, skip. And there are games that do that. Bang the Dice game is an incredibly fun little game. This is a game in which one person's a sheriff, and everyone else is either an outlaw, a deputy, or a renegade. Some of them are on the sheriff's team. Some of them are trying to kill the sheriff. You're not quite sure. And on your turn, you roll dice, Yahtzee style a little bit, and you're trying to use those dice to attack maybe the sheriff and another player. Everyone's trying to convince the sheriff they're on his team or her team. Really fun little game. Plays very quickly. The renegade's just trying to make everybody die except for them. It's really fast. That's Bang the Dice game. Saboteur is another little card game in which you are trying to, as a group, connect a cave to an exit point, following the paths to that exit point. However, a couple people, maybe one person is a saboteur, and you're trying to figure out who's trying to mess everybody up. So there's sometimes you'll mess someone over with a card and say, okay, you can't play cards for a while. Why? Because I'm pretty sure you're the saboteur. I'm not the saboteur. That kind of fun gaming happens in Saboteur. Super Rhino is a game that's like Uno, the dexterity game. In Super Rhino, you have these cards which are bent, and you're building a tower out of them. Who doesn't want to do that? And trying not to make the tower fall. But sometimes when you play a card, somebody else has to do something. They have to move a little rhino figure somewhere else in the tower. So you're building the tower and trying to make it very difficult for the next person. Maybe something you like about Uno is just having sort of a goal. I want to get rid of all the cards in my hand. That's the part you like. When you finish, you're like, yes, got rid of all the cards. Well, other cards have goals like that. There's You Gotta Be Kidding Me, another game about cats. And in this game, you are trying to basically bluff and figure out how many of a specific card is in everyone's hands. You have different cards with different symbols on, and you might say, I think there's 4 glasses on the different cards that are around the table. Next person says, no, I think there's 6. And you up the bet until someone says, no, there cannot be that many. And they call it, people reveal, and you see who wins that round. A lot of fun. You got to be kidding me. Also, there's a very simple and clever game called Red 7. Red 7 is a game in which each card, you play a card in front of you, and at the end of your turn, you must be winning the game. You do that by playing a card in front of you or by changing a rule. So the rule might be whoever has the most colors in front of them is winning the game. And you keep going until you cannot win the game at the end of your turn. Then you're out, and we keep going till only one person wins. It's very unique, very intriguing, and I don't think you could play it just once. Red 7. And then Uno, one of the big things about Uno is just matching colors. You know, red on red, green, 6 on 6 type thing. Well, there's Backyard Builder's Treehouse. In this game, you're matching and building yourself a treehouse. Not only is it a fun theme to see the treehouse grow, but it's fast too. Sometimes Uno might take forever in a day because no one can get down to Uno. Backyard Builder's Treehouse has a lot of similarities, but will finish in a quicker fashion. And then there's a game called Quirkle. Quirkle is a game of blocks. It's almost like color Scrabble. On your turn, you're placing a block, and then you'll score points for having blocks of the same the same color or the same shape next to each other in rows. And so you're matching them. Very easy game. Has sold a gazillion copies because it's that good. Highly recommend Quirkle. I know not everyone loves Uno. Some people hate it. Some people love it. But regardless, I think you'll find that these are 10 wonderful alternatives to playing Uno. I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching the Dice Tower. See you next time.